You know, when I was a kid, I used to believe almost everything I saw on the internet. From free Roblox hobbies that mysteriously needed you to log in again for some reason, to infamous myths about certain Roblox user that was going to hack your account if you played Roblox on a certain day of March. And I mean, I totally didn't fall for those too, that would be really stupid even for a kid, right? It's not like I lost my first account ever to the latter, and I also obviously didn't embarrass myself shouting "Don't play Roblox on March 18th" to every classmate I knew that played Roblox. Now in seriousness, I am pretty sure that most of us fell for these when we were kids. Or at least hyperfixated on myths like John and Jane Doe, Noli, Guest 666, and such. We're now older, we don't fall for these tricks anymore. However, these old myths remain as part of our childhood in some way. No matter how stupid they sound now, they became icons of the old Roblox we used. And as the icons they are, they don't die. Somebody, somewhere, at some point, will want to bring them back to their old glory, one way or another. And that day arrived. Old Roblox themed games are pretty popular on modern Roblox. We have a wall horror section, ADHD the game, a JRPG, Anxiety the game, and a freaking Detroit simulator. When I first heard of Forsaken a while ago, my first thought was that it might just be another of those games that suddenly rise in popularity but will die over time. And since I was busy recording and playing other games, I never actually gave it a chance. Eventually the game became popular enough that people would talk about it often in either my Discord server or my and of course I didn't understand a thing. So a couple weeks ago I decided to finally give myself some time and actually play it. And oh dude, where do I start? 10-second interruption just to tell you that I have a Discord server. It is a little dead right now, so if you fellas can invade it, that will be really nice. It's not a server like the rest, I promise. Alright, don't lie to me. I know you skipped this part. Anyways, Forsaken is a game about survival. There are two roles in this game. Survivor, whose objective is to, well, survive. There are generators scattered on the map that survivors will have to fix in order to shorten their timer and have some other benefits. Meanwhile, the killer, surprisingly, has to kill. Yeah, these roles are pretty self-explanatory. Both roles have different characters with different kits, allowing for a lot of variation on matches. Nothing of this sounds particularly unique or innovative. There has been games that follow these formulas. However, what makes Forsaken stand out is how chaotic rounds can be. Was the knight in shining armor in your movie? Some people may have noticed that this description sounds oddly similar to an existing game outside of Roblox. Yeah, specifically speaking, Dead by Daylight. And here I will say, yes, Forsaken is a Roblox version of Dead by Daylight. Does that make Forsaken a bad game or a copy? Of course not. Although it is true that Forsaken took a lot of things from Dead by Daylight, Forsaken does have its own gimmicks and things that help the game forge its own identity. Main part of this is the roster of the game. I said before that the characters have their own kits, and by kits I mean abilities and passives. Well, while in Dead by Daylight we have quality of life, supportive and stealth-based abilities, here in Forsaken we have simpler things, such as punching the killer in the face. The killers are all powerhouses in their own way, but they are still susceptible to what my fellow locals like to call bullying. With the correct characters, some coordination, and the required level of skill, you can bully the killer in many ways. From punching them, to slashing, to juking them over and over. I like this, whether I'm a survivor or the killer, because instead of feeling like an untouchable killer that will eventually murder everyone with no issue, I still have to worry about what will the survivors do in order to protect themselves. Will I be the one bullying them, or will they bully me? And as a survivor, of course, it's not always about punching. The other characters that don't have violence on their kits are also very nice to play as. And now that I'm talking about them, I want to highlight that there isn't really some sort of meta character that is superior to the rest. All of them excel in their own way and feel important when they are in your team. We have sentinels like Shedletsky in charge of stunning the killers and making sure to protect other players. The supports like Elliot and Duzikar in charge of providing the team with healing and shielding respectively. The killers work the same way. They are all very powerful, but require you to get used to the way they work in order to exploit them to their fullest potential. For example, 1x1 can do a decent job against survivors, but things become visibly easier once you manage to understand and properly use the range abilities he has on his kit. John Doe is a similar case. Just learn how to properly control your spikes and position your digital footprints and you will see a difference. And now that we're talking about abilities and overall learning, something that has bothered me a little is how punishing it is to be a beginner in this game. You see, abilities in this game are most of the time very punishing if you fail at using them.
Oh my god, bro.
Yes, I know that these problems are solved by simply playing the game more and getting better. Except failing Shedletsky slashes. Those will torment you till the end of times. But this process is very tedious when you first start playing the game, especially when your server is filled with people with more than 5 days of playtime. You die, wait in the lobby for 5 minutes, play for 34 seconds and die again. Repeat until you get good. And this same thing happens when you play as a killer, but worse, since now you have to wait for several rounds just to get to try again. Good dang it, I remember when a full lobby started emoting on me because he couldn't land a single hit every time I played as a certain killer for the first time. A very simple answer will be, well, womp womp, skill issue. But dude, from a beginner's perspective, this is frustrating enough to make people quit the game due to how overwhelmingly annoying this is. And look, I don't really consider myself the best gamer out there, but definitely not the worst either. When I first played the game with my subscribers and friends, even though they were basically sugarcoating it, things got very tricky. Good thing I had someone to tell me about stamina management, the correct usage of skills, and the essentials to get good at the game.
What the f am I doing? Okay. Yep.
This is one of those games that I think will be experienced better with beginner servers and a proper tutorial of the game's basic mechanics. Something like this will definitely make the beginners feel more at ease when it comes to the learning process, and giving them more time to get used to the game's pace before being ready to jump into the real action. I do have a couple more things I didn't fully like about the game, but I decided to not include them into this video as the game is still on its alpha phase and I'm very certain that they will solve these with time. Or it's just me having a skill issue. Last point I want to talk about is the environment and ambient this game sets you in. Goodness, this game really knows how to set the vibe. Your lobby is some sort of sorrowful yet calming cabin in the middle of the forest. There is a good amount of NPCs to talk to get a better understanding of what kind of horror did you just set your character into. Every time a round starts, there is always this little intro animation before revealing the round's killer. And what I particularly find amazing is the fact that this intro can be changed depending of the skin the killer is wearing. Is it necessary to add this kind of stuff to a game? No. Is it cool? Adding cool details like this, stuff that was never necessary to begin with, and I am pretty sure that people would never ask for, really makes me realize how much love and care this game went through.
Ahem. I gotta clarify something that Zero seems to have forgotten while making the script. Idiot. Although skins in Forsaken are a really good way to incentivize replayability and look really good overall, the thing becomes slightly problematic when it's the only thing we receive as content for around 2 to 4 hotfixes. With the recent Noli update, all we can hope for now is that we get some cool content with the bonus of skins, rather than skins just having their own updates every once in a while.
How did you get into my house?
Oh, well Alright, bye guys, please sub to my channel, woo!
Alright, as I was saying, this is not just a game made for the sake of being popular and bringing easy cash to the devs. This game is visibly the result of the collective passion and effort of the developers, all stuffed into a single project for the sake of delivering a good and enjoyable product, which is admirable. From the mechanics, to the visuals, to the music. Did I mention the music? Yeah, I cannot make a Forsaken video without talking about the music. Just have a listen. Forsaken is a game that I personally think that totally deserves all the traction it got. As I said before, the devs really tried to deliver a good product, and I think that that is a very remarkable trait, considering the current state of Roblox games, and how the philosophy of devs is usually just making games the easier way to get money. The game itself is very rough to begin, which is not very favorable, but I am sure that if you get through that, the game will reward you with hours and hours of chaos and fun. All of this does not apply if you play Elliot. Seriously, don't play Elliot. Of course, my opinion is just my opinion and should be treated as just another grain of sand. Let me know yours in the comment section. As always, thank you all so much for watching. And remember, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. See you around.